You can lead a department meeting. You can navigate high stakes negotiations, manage a team, even plan a 5-figure wedding. But then you get pregnant, and suddenly everyone's talking about bottle brands and bassinets. No one's giving you straight answers about what this baby will actually cost you financially, emotionally, or logistically. You've got the spreadsheet brain. You'd like to know what's coming. But when it comes to your baby's first year, the numbers feel like guesses. The gear lists are endless, and no one's telling you what's actually essential versus noise. So, let's cut through that today. I'm Cherry, and I've worked with thousands of families, and here's what I know. It's not the diaper brand that makes or breaks you. It's knowing what to expect, having a plan that flexes with real life, and building in support where it matters most. Let's talk about how to actually budget for your baby's first year. Not just the money, but the mental load too. One of the biggest myths I see is the idea that preparing for a baby is just about the money. That it's a checklist of expenses to plug into a calculator. But the truth is, every financial decision is tied to an emotional one. Do you want to go back to work full time? Will you have help at home? Do you feel comfortable asking your family for support? Or is that off the table? I once worked with a mom who spent months preparing the nursery, but really didn't budget for childcare during her postpartum recovery. Her parents lived out of state, and she hadn't really planned for how overwhelmed she'd feel trying to cook, heal, feed the baby, and pump around the clock. She had the gear, but she needed systems and backup. This is why it's so important to start the conversation with your partner early, even before the third trimester. I always recommend setting aside time in the second trimester for what I call a postpartum logistics check-in. Sit down together and ask, what kind of leave will each of us take? Who's doing the nighttime feedings? What's our plan if one of us needs extra emotional support? Are we aligned on how much we want to spend, what we want to outsource, and what we're comfortable with in terms of family help? These aren't one-time discussions. They evolve, but having that first planning session plants the seed so that both of you are approaching this as a team, not scrambling in survival mode after the baby comes. The links below. Okay, let's break down the costs that truly matter. Not everything you see on registry guides is necessary. The real essentials fall into 3 categories: feeding, sleeping, and diapering. Whether you're nursing, pumping, or using formula, your costs will center around supplies to support that method. And that looks different for every mom. Some moms need nipple shields and lactation support. Others need bottles that reduce reflux or access to WIC for formula. Then there's sleep. You don't need 5 swaddles in different fabrics. You need a safe sleep surface and a strategy for nighttime care. Whether that's your partner taking shifts or hiring a postpartum doula a few nights, it's worth budgeting for sleep support more than baby shoes. And diapers? Plan on spending about $80 to $100 a month on diapers and wipes unless you're cloth diapering. But don't stockpile newborn sizes. Some babies are in them for a week or so. One mom told me her baby was born nearly 10 pounds and never fit newborn anything. These are the kinds of adjustments that don't show up in budget calculators, but they matter. Here's where new parents get blindsided. The unpredictable hospital bills you thought were covered. Extra visits to the pediatrician because of feeding issues. Lactation support that insurance doesn't fully cover. One mom had an unplanned C-section and needed help at home for weeks longer than expected. That meant groceries delivered, extra childcare for her toddler, and a postpartum doula to help her move around safely. These things aren't luxuries, they're recovery support. If there's one thing I want you to build into your budget, it's an emergency postpartum fund. Even $500 can buy you peace of mind when everything else feels out of control. Of course, you can increase it to whatever amount you are comfortable with. And this is another point for discussion with your partner. How will you handle unexpected expenses? Will you set aside a shared emergency fund? Can you temporarily reallocate non-essential subscriptions or spending during those first few months? These decisions feel small in theory, but in practice, they help prevent burnout and resentment. Childcare is often the single largest cost of baby's first year, and yet it's often the last thing people plan for. The average cost of daycare in the United States is over $2,000 a month, and that's conservative in some cities. If you're planning to return to work, start exploring options now, even while you're still pregnant. Wait lists are real. And if you're considering staying home or going part-time, be honest about what that means for your household budget. One mom told me, "We save for the baby year, but not for me being off work longer than 12 weeks. That gap adds up quickly." Planning ahead doesn't mean you have to have all the answers now. It just means you're not surprised when reality shows up. This is a great opportunity to map out a basic 6 to 12 month spending plan with your partner. Include estimated income changes, any FMLA benefits, out-of-pocket health expenses, and flexible categories like food. And you don't need to obsess over every penny, but knowing your financial lane can give you the confidence to adjust when things shift. I know you want to do this right, but remember, babies don't need perfection. They need presence. You can budget for peace of mind, for recovery, for real life needs instead of comparison. That might mean skipping the wipe warmer and putting that $40 towards a meal train for week 3 when the adrenaline wears off. Give yourself permission to spend where it counts. You are not weak for needing support. You are wise for building it in. You are not here to be rescued. You are here to be equipped. And that starts by making decisions that reflect your values, not social media. Baby budgeting isn't just about dollars. It's about clarity, confidence, and peace in a season that tests all three. You deserve tools that help you protect your energy and prepare with intention. If you found this helpful, watch this video next. I'll walk through the 5 truths about maternity leave that most working moms are not told. I appreciate you taking time to check out this video. The early weeks after birth are not easy, but they are not meant to be done alone or without guidance. If what you've heard today gave you something solid to work with, make sure to subscribe so we can keep building that support together. And if you're ready to take the next step, there's a link for my free class below. I'm Sherry, and I will see you in the next one.